Let's go. Stan and Neil Show.
What's up? We are back. It's another edition of the Stan and Neil Show, episode 35. For those of you who are just joining us, if you're new here, this is a show with real sports talk without all the hot takes, no personal drama, no beefs, no going back and forth with foolishness. So if that's your kind of sports show, hit the follow button right now. We usually go live normally on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, but tonight we're going on Thursday, and we're glad that you could make it. Those of you who are joining us live on Twitch, and for those of you checking out the show later on Facebook or wherever, not Facebook, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. What's up, Neil?
Yeah, we don't. I'm great. I just flew back from Portland, covering the Blazers' last road game. You and I will get to the Blazers-Clippers big standoff on Friday. But Stan was talking about we don't do hot takes or talk shit about anybody. We'll change that if that's what somebody wants to sponsor us. Okay.
Got to give the people what they want.
Yeah, hey, we've been off for a little while, man. You know, Stephanie said there's a new strain of COVID going out. I wonder if that's what we had. But anyhow, man, Stan was down, then I was down, and but now we're back and we're ready to roll. And Speaking of rolling, man, I was rolling with Delta watching the Masters in seat 818C today. And,
18C?
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't spring for first class. It's hard to believe.
It was sold out, and I've been getting upgraded so much I haven't been buying it. And today I got shut. Today I got shut down. Oh, but thank God the golf was on. It made the trip go a little smoother.
So over the years, Neil and I have had this discussion. So Neil is a stickler for comfort in the air. Okay, I will sit and coach, but I am not compromising on the hotel once we land. You know, I'm not quite LeBron James where I said I want to stay in that Hyatt in Memphis. Okay, but I do like a nice hotel. But I'll tough it out and coach.
Yeah, I'll tough it out and coach too, unless if we're flying to Hawaii or if you're flying to the East Coast. Any flight over a couple hours. I mean, you got to at least try and hit comfort just to give yourself a little more space. But I can't do the middle and I can't do the window in comfort or regular. I feel like I'm claustrophobic, man. And I just it's, and then you got to bother people to get over them if you got to go to the bathroom. And I'm just
so you have to have an aisle seat. You can't do middle or window.
I mean, I've had to do it, but
not your choice.
Rather take aisle all the way.
See, I used to always be right side window. If I'm tired, especially if I want to go to sleep, I just like to be able to lean and then go to sleep.
All right.
If I'm tired, I want to go to sleep. But I'm with you. If I'm wide awake, and then I like the aisle too, because I hate having to bug people to get up too.
Yeah, and Delta, I think, is the only airline that's still got the TVs, man. I like Alaska, but they got rid of all their TVs, and I guess most people,
Why?
I don't know. Most people, I guess, pull it up on their phone or their computer, but I'm not like most people. I don't know how to do any of that. So,
I know. Southwest has that too, where you go to an app on your phone, and you can pull up everything on your phone. Or or your computer.
Yeah, but you got to watch it on something that's that big.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the seat back TV too.
Yeah. So I was watching the Masters. What'd you see? What'd you see that turned you on, turned you off? You're the big golfer. How's the golf game going, by the way?
Golf guy had a great practice this morning. Going on a trip with my buddies in Scottsdale later this month. And I whipped them pretty good at Whistling Straits last year. So they're all gunning for me. And so I got to get it together. I haven't played as well as I played at Whistling Straits since then. That was in August. Haven't played that well since then. So I've been trying to get it together. So I had a good practice this morning. So we'll see. I still got a couple of weeks. But so we have this thing that we do in our travel group. It's I believe we got 16 or 17 guys this year. I think it's 16 because we usually keep it so we can have foursomes, right? So a part of how you decide, we got 2 villas in Scottsdale, 2 villas that sleep 8 people. Okay. And, there's different rooms in the villa. I haven't seen it, but based on how you do in the Masters pool, okay, that determines the order that you pick your room at the villa.
That's big.
See,
especially for a guy who wants the nice room.
Exactly. And there's also cash involved. But the big thing is the room, because you get there, and if you're like dead last, you might be in a room with a twin bed or something, because I haven't seen either one of the houses. So right now, I took Sam Burns.
Nice.
The way we do it is you pick 6 guys, and your top 4 counts as your score.
And everybody and somebody else could have Sam Burns too, or once you pick him, he's off the board.
So we have tiers. We have 6 tiers.
Okay.
So you can't just go, Rory, Scheffler, Xander.
Right.
We got 6 tiers, and so you pick one guy out of each of the 6 tiers. Okay, and your top 4 count.
So if somebody picked Rory, you can't pick him, or you could pick him too. He could be your top.
Yeah, I can pick Rory. We 2 guys can pick the same guys. It never happens.
Okay.
But 2 guys can pick the same guys. And then if that were to happen, it would go to a tiebreaker on what's the final score. The tiebreaker is what's the winner's final score.
And so who was your top tier pick?
My top tier pick was Xander Schauffele. He's in it.
Okay.
And then I got Sam Burns, I got Xander, I got Gary Woodland, who's doing well so far.
He's -1.
Yeah, I got so I just heard Van Pelt a few minutes ago say there's only 18 guys under par right now. Only 5 of them still on the course. So I got 4 guys under par. So I'm leading right now. But it's only day 1. It's only day 1, but nobody else has Sam Burns, and I got Sam Burns, LSU.
All right.
So I'm hoping Sam can continue. I mean, he's a great putter, and putting always matters at Augusta. So
did you pick your boy Max Homa?
No, I did pick my boy Jason Day though. He also had a good day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
he's -3.
He's at 3 under. So I got Sam Burns, Jason Day, Xander, and Gary Woodland all under par. Also have Oberg and who's my other guy? Oh,
Rahm.
DeChambeau.
No. Oh, DeChambeau.
DeChambeau was on a tier in our pool where he was a great value. So almost everybody took DeChambeau because the guy who organized it put DeChambeau had really good odds, but I think he was on like tier 3 in our pool. So almost everybody took him because he's a great value in tier 3.
Oh yeah.
But now we see why he was in tier 3.
I was listening to this interview with this guy Alan Shipnack, who just wrote a book on Rory Mac.
Yeah, great golf writer from Sports Illustrated. Was at Sports Illustrated for years. Great golf writer.
Yeah, he really laid it. I did not realize that the Rory McIlroy. He came from. I don't want to say abject poverty, but the guy said that the dad spent the morning cleaning toilets and cleaning at the rugby club, and then he would go to the golf course and he was the bartender and the waiter. Then he'd go back to the rugby club to bartend there. Then he'd go home, and when he got home off his 18-hour day, Rory's mom would go to work at a place where they made boxes or something like that. And and they put it all into Rory, and he dropped out of school at 15, turned pro at 17, and it really gave me a different perspective on Rory McIlroy. Most of the golf guys you think came from
country clubs.
Were born on third base and think they hit a triple, and it's like no, that's not quite how that worked. But Rory McIlroy, I was really impressed. And only heard about 20 minutes of this interview, but in that 20 minutes, it really was, really had me pulling for McElroy.
Yeah, everybody's celebrating him this year. He got to do the Champions Dinner as the host because he finally broke through. One last year to complete the career Grand Slam, and it had been, I think, his first shot at the career Grand Slam was 2015 maybe. So just year after year, he would get there and they'd be like, okay, is this the year? Is this the year? So he said, finally said, hey guys, what are we going to talk about now? Because I finally did it. Because every year they would ask him, is this going to be the year? So, I kind of expected, he's such a talented player. I kind of expected that now that he's got the Masters, thing out of the way, when you feel like you have to do it, like in golf, I mean, I'm sure now from starting to play, if you feel like you have to do something in golf, it just the pressure gets to be too much. If you can play freely, the way he's playing now, because he knows, hey, I've already won this thing. I got the career Grand Slam. Now I'm just playing for additional legacy now. And so he goes out, drops a 67 today, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's in it right there at the end, maybe goes back to back because, he's got the talent to win there. He just never was able to put it together. Now that he's done it, there's no pressure.
Is given what a golf fanatic, and I say that admiringly that you are, is going to Augusta a bucket list item for you?
No, not really. Not really. I mean, I'd want to see the course. But like golf, I go to some tournaments, at PGA West. We have a place in La Quinta, and so that's our home tournament. So we go there. It's at our club, and then I'll go to Riviera, because it's here in LA. Played in the Pro-Am at Torrey Pines for 3 years, and so a lot of times we'll go down to San Diego, go to Torrey Pines. Been to Pebble Beach a few times. So but first of all, it's so expensive to go to the Masters, and I like watching the Masters on TV. Because I like to see all the players. And the one thing about going to a live golf tournament is you can see some of the guys. Like I was commenting today, I saw some people just like at the Masters, just sitting. I'm sorry, patrons at the Masters, just sitting at one hole watching approach shots. I would never want to do that. Just sit there and just watch approach shots. I want to see the round unfold. Like when I do go, like I'll pick out players and we'll follow them. My wife's into golf too. And so we'll follow, pick out a player, Scheffler. Let's follow Scheffler for a few holes. And we'll say, okay, well, here's Max Homa. Okay, let's follow Max for a few holes, So I prefer to experience it that way. But the Masters on TV is a fantastic product. Because you get all the stunning visuals, and then the drama of the competition, and all that sort of stuff. So,
we spent so many years watching not just Masters and golf, but NBA and football in standard definition, and never thought anything of it because it's what we knew. And then once HD came, it's like, oh my God. I mean, it's like being a guy with bad vision and finally getting a pair of glasses and going like, wow.
Do you remember your age? Was there an HD moment for you where you said, oh, this is unbelievable?
Ooh, yeah. You know what it was? It was, I was at a Costco with my cousin and her husband, bless them both. They both passed away. But in Washington, D.C. or Virginia, some in that area back east.
Yep.
And they were going into Costco and they were selling an HD television. And they had one on, and I'm like, wow, look at that screen. And I think the television was $7,000. When it was a big, it was maybe 45 inches. But I'm like, damn, look at that picture. I remember that, but I'm like, I'll never get that because I can't afford, I'm never paying that much for a TV.
Yeah, it's like getting a ticket to the Masters. $7,000. You know.
Yeah.
No, I remember I bought one when we were in Connecticut. I had the big floor model. Remember when they came the big floor model? You had to roll it in. It was like the size of a desk. If you wanted a big screen, like there was no just a screen. It was like a whole piece of furniture.
Yeah.
But it had a big screen, maybe, I don't know, maybe 50 or 60 inches or whatever. And I was watching a Patriots game, and I remember seeing the stubble on Brady's beard. And I'm like, man, what a picture. You could actually see the stubble on his beard, when they did a cutaway to him. I was like, man, this is unbelievable. Yeah, now you see standard definition. You're like, what is this? Shoot this with a flip phone?
I mean, I think HD is responsible for the big run we had at ESPN because people will say, who are these two good-looking dudes, man? I got to pay attention to them.
Exactly. So now a couple of other stories from the Masters. Justin Rose, he's always there in the first round. 45 years old, still doing it. He's at 4 under right now through 16. He's one of the guys still out there. Scotty Scheffler. A lot of questions about how he's been playing this season. Hasn't been great. Just had a baby. Some questions about whether, he'd be more focused on that experience and his second child, or whether he'd be ready to go. But he's ready to go. He's at 2 under right now. This may not be updated because I
think he was still on the course too.
Yeah. Okay, so now here we go. Just updated it. Yeah, Scheffler's still at 2 under. He's on 18 right now. So Scheffler and Woodland are on 18. So they look like they may be, they're the final group with Harris English. Man, did you see Robert McIntyre just a few minutes ago on 15?
Yeah, I heard he
took a 9. Ooh, rough.
That sounds like my game. Wasn't Justin Rose who McIlroy beat in the playoff last year? Was it Justin Rose?
I'm not sure. I think so. Hey, anybody in the chat?
Yeah.
Let's see. Rose, McIlroy playoff.
Colored TV. Colored TV Pod said when we said we're not into hot takes, he said, "Do we want a hot take Mike Vrabel and the reporter paying a Rossini story?" No, that's what we're not doing.
But you know what? I will say this. I mean, look, they're grown people. Whatever happened between them. It has brought out the stupid in a lot of other people, though. Just the hot takes that we're talking, brought out the stupid. That like, oh yeah, that's why women shouldn't work in sports. Shut up, okay? So you say women shouldn't work in sports. Why don't you say that's why men shouldn't work in sports? Because they can't stay away from the reporters. Why do you say women shouldn't work in sports? Because they can't stay away from players and coaches, okay? Then other people are like, oh, that's the reason why they put women there, because they can have control over. There's just so many stupid reactions. It's just absolutely stupid.
See, what's wrong is you're reading the hot takes. And so now, because I don't read anything. I don't nothing. I go
searching in vain for someone making some sense. You know what I mean? And then you just see people being stupid. That like now, because of what may or may not have, we don't even know what happened. Okay, now it looks bad. Okay, it looks bad, but we don't know what happened. Okay, but because of what may or may not have happened, now no women should be able to work in sports anymore. Just stupid. And so now all women have done something like that. I mean, it's just stupid, And it's like people wait for chances to be stupid. Oh, here it is. I can be stupid. Here's something that will allow me to show my stupidity. Let me take advantage of it. It's just ridiculous. But look, like I said, they're both grown. They can fend for themselves, and they'll have to deal with whatever fallout there may be. And people are like, oh well, maybe she was doing it to try to get scoops or whatever. No, maybe people meet each other and they hit it off, and they're both married, but they hit it off, and things happen. You know what I mean? I don't think it's any kind of whatever. Just don't get me started.
I'm afraid we already did.
Do you have anything on that before we move on?
It's just it's gossip. It's none. It doesn't interest me. It does nothing for me personally. Therefore, I don't really care about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
they're two grown adults. Let them deal with whatever it is that they may have done, may not have done, whatever. All right, Masters.
Another guy who is having to things happen. That's what Chase Stefani said, or Chase Stephan. Things happen.
Yeah.
Another guy who's having to deal with some fallout because he's such a public figure is Tiger Woods and what happened to him. And people talking about, is he going to be at the Masters? It's like, wow, are you actually paying attention to what's going on in his life? No, he's not going to be at. No, he's not going to be at the Masters. No, he's not going to be at the Masters Champions Dinner. He's got a disease and he's got to take care of it. And so I believe he's gone to Switzerland to get therapy. And he released a statement, and in part it said, "I know and understand." There it is right there, the seriousness of the situation I find myself in today. And that's the first big step for somebody who's been around people who suffer from addiction. And addiction isn't a choice. Addiction is a disease. And the choice becomes how you recognize and how you handle your disease. But that first line says it all. If he truly believes that, because then he'll get to the bottom of it, and then it becomes a lifelong. It's lifelong work. It's like it's kind of like when people say I've been cured for cancer, and it's like, no, the cancer's in remission, and you hope it never comes. You hope it never comes back. But I don't know that you're ever cured from it, and that's the same with a lot of addiction problems. Begin with, hey man, it's a daily thing to get on the right side of it, and so we wish Tiger Woods, you want him to be on the right side of it, because all the joy that he brought us as a golfer, and what he did for the game, how he opened the game up to so many people who never thought that they would be playing golf,
me included.
I was going to say he probably speaks right to you so I'm just you're just glad that he didn't hurt anyone, and that he was able to get away from it, and without any major injuries for himself like the last time that happened. But hopefully he gets the help and comes back better than ever.
Yeah, you hit all the points there. And yeah, I just want him to be okay, especially because he's got two kids, for whom he's not Tiger Woods, he's dad. And
yeah, good point.
They don't want to deal with something tragic like that. Him getting into an accident, hurting himself again, or hurting someone else. And so I agree with you on the addiction not being a choice, but getting behind the wheel is. And, he's got to make better choices there. But I don't know if, like, when you drink too much, pretty much you drank too much. Okay. I don't know if you're taking painkillers to relieve pain, if you know how that the pain has gone away, but do you know that you're impaired in a way that makes it difficult to drive? I don't have a lot of experience with painkillers, because like I heard stories about people getting addicted. They get a back injury and doctor gives them a prescription for OxyContin or oxycodone or whatever it is, and they take it, and all of a sudden they're addicted. And I'm like, I'll just go with the handful of Advil and tough it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if it's the same.
Well, it's an addiction, and so it doesn't matter. It could be gambling, and it's But
I mean, okay. You take the pills, okay, for pain, Okay.
Yeah.
Are you aware of how impaired you are in terms of being able to drive? You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Like,
Well, if you take him to the point where you're doing one of these,
well, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Right.
that's that's when you've taken too many milligrams of whatever, that
Yeah.
can be a side effect.
Right.
So
Okay.
then you got to be able to tell yourself, but you can be like, oh, I'm fine to drive. Well, that's no different than I had too many pops. I'm fine to drive.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes this stuff gives you a confidence that you should not have because of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you there. Hope he gets the help that he needs, and
Yeah.
he's able to, because like he's still got again 2 kids, and he's also got a burgeoning career as a golf course designer. Talked about possibly playing the Champions Tour at some point, and so he's still got contributions to make in his own life and to the game of golf. And so, but first of all, he's got to clean this up.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, before we leave the Masters,
Yeah.
I'm seeing John Rahm, who you got mixed. I don't know. I have mixed emotions about these live guys because
Yeah.
it's like, well, they took the money,
Hmm.
which is hard to not do. I would imagine when this excess cash is thrown at you, but I find it hard to root for them in events like this and kind of take a perverse pleasure out of seeing, oh, John Rahm's +6. Oh, he's tied with Freddie Couples. Okay, so and there's
And
Patrick Reed at
Couples was doing okay. He had a 9 on 15 as well. Couples was fine.
yeah he was
And then he
he
had a
was
9.
2 under on the Delta flight,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then I came here and I'm like, he's +6. What
Yeah,
happened?
he took a 9 on 15 as well.
Oh, yeah. So anyhow, I see
Rahm,
Brooks
78.
Koepka,
Kepka's
Brooks
was
Koepka.
making moves.
Yeah, he's 1 under, I think. So,
Okay.
and he's made his way back to the PGA. I don't know. It's probably petty on my part, but
Oh,
I
a lot of
liked
people feel that way.
Rahm when he was on the PGA, and I got nothing
Yeah.
for him now. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I don't go that far, but I think there's a lesson in it. That like the money was too hard to turn down, but then just a few years later, the money's not enough. The money's not enough. That it's you want something more than money. You want legacy. You want to feel alive, like you're playing against the other best players in the world, and you got the fans there, and like there's people there that live, but I mean nobody grew up dreaming of playing Live Adelaide. You know, all these guys dream of playing where the legends played, and adding to those legends.
Yeah.
Adding to the lore of the game, the history of the game. Like the Tom Watson shot at Pebble Beach. The Jack Nicklaus or Arnold Palmer. One hit a 1-iron. I believe it was at Augusta. A 1-iron. I believe it was Nicklaus hit a 1-iron on a par 5 to set up an eagle. Tiger's better than most putt at TPC Sawgrass, and then have you in your life, have you ever seen anything like that on 16 at Augusta? Like these incredible moments, like you're never gonna get that on Live, okay? And eventually you look around and you're like, Rory McIlroy, going back to him, I give him credit for realizing that before he made the decision to go to Live. Like he looked at it and they asked him, how could you turn down this money? Because they said, if they got him, then they have a legitimacy that far outstrips anybody else, I would think, except Tiger. Okay.
Yeah.
So he said, what am I going to do with this money? Buy a bigger house? He's like, the house I have now, I only use 4 rooms. And so what mattered to him was more taking a place in history. So now think if he took the money and he doesn't experience what he experienced last year at the Masters, which you can't put a price tag on that.
No.
You know what I mean? So there's a lesson in it about But look, money is important. I'm not saying money's not important, but when you get to, like, nobody's starving on the PGA Tour. Guys who, keep their cards, they're all multimillionaires. So then it becomes like, okay, so now how much money is enough? Especially when it comes in lieu of other things that you can't put a price tag on.
Yeah.
So there you go. But
Well
I
said.
still like
Well,
I still like Koepka. I still like Koepka. I still like Koepka because he's kind of got a build like mine. They tell you if you want to copy somebody's swing, try to find somebody who's kind of built like you, And he's like 6'1", like maybe 215, 220 pounds, depending on how much beer he's been drinking. Because you can see he's got a little gut that he shouldn't have at his age. I mean, it's okay for us, but we're kind of the same size. I met him in person, seen him a couple of times. He's really super, super cool dude. And so I still root for him. And I was glad to see him come back, because I still like him,
Yeah, he had the scene in that not Hard Knocks, but whatever the golf thing was on HBO
Full
or
Swing.
Netflix. Full Swing. And I remember the first season, and it was about the third episode, and nobody had ever heard of Live Golf, and they were talking about it like something like, and then they showed him, and his eyes were big, and that was how they ended the episode, because you knew that he was going, but he was like, listen to these guys, and like, whoa, I don't want to, I'm interested in this Live Golf. I'll never forget that scene that was some good editing to find that to close out the show, because then it immediately made you want to watch the next episode and see where it went.
Yeah, that show is fantastic. It's like Real Housewives for golfers. You know what I mean? It locks you in. And I think he was worried about his knee. He was hurt, and I think he was worried about his ability to remain competitive on the PGA Tour or in professional golf in general, because that knee injury seemed like it was gonna affect him long term. And I think once he realized, okay, I'm okay, I don't have to worry about earning money, I'm going to be able to still go out and compete on the PGA Tour. I think that's when he said, okay, whatever, I'm going back. And so now Patrick Reed's coming back, and now Patrick Reed's at 3 under. He's coming back to the PGA Tour later this year. I don't know if Live is sustainable over the long term, because it's just, nobody watches it, and it's whatever.
Yeah. All right. That's more attention Liv needs, and we should get. I got no love for Liv, is what Anders J says on the chat.
All right.
You got love for Michigan in the national championship with the 5 mercenaries out there. The all these questions about college basketball. It's kind of mixed emotions. I mean, the Michigan's playing the game the way the rules are right now. So good on them that they got it done. I was thinking, Stan, it was like if you have a house and you need to build an extra room, and you think about it, and you're like, I don't really want to spend the money. And meanwhile, the rest of your house is collapsing all around you. And the next thing you know, you got a place you can't even live in. And I kind of feel that's how the NCAA has handled this, paying the, NIL and all that kind of stuff that they knew they needed to do something, and they dragged their feet, and they didn't want to do
the
it.
can down the road. Yep.
Yeah, and then the whole goddamn thing just imploded on them, and that's where they are now.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't have a problem with them doing something about the transfer rules, okay? But the money thing, that's over. They're not going to be able to keep control, because the major programs with the big money want it to be a money game, because that's what gives them their advantage. Okay, so it's like when I was in radio. Okay, there's only 24 hours in a day. Okay, and there's only so many records you could play on the radio in a day. Okay. So what's to stop people from making really good music in their basement, bringing it to the radio station and say, here, play this. And if it's a good song, put it on the radio. People are like, well, no, the big record companies make sure that it's a money game because there's a finite number of hours in a day and they got to get their records played. So they make it a money game and they put the money behind the artist that they're invested in. Okay. So these big schools they're not going to relinquish their advantage for the good of the game or for whatever. Okay. Did people watch March Madness this year?
Oh, yeah. Record numbers.
Okay. So apparently all this hand wringing and belly aching about, oh, the state of the game. No, you're still watching it. They said the same thing about college football. Everybody still watched. Okay. And I think when it comes to the money, it's a solution in search of a problem. Because it does not bother me at all if a kid gets $100 million to play, because they're only going to pay him $100 million to play if they're making many multiples of $100 million to have him on the team. Okay. Yeah. And so I don't know why it bothers people that these kids are getting paid. Okay. And getting paid because I'll tell you what's going to happen. Okay. They talk about, okay, well, there's a salary cap now. Okay. $20.5 million. Okay. Which is a de facto salary cap. Okay. But that doesn't include NIL deals. Okay.
Right.
So to circumvent the $20.5 million, all they'll do is throw a little bit more under the table. Instead of all of it being under the table.
Which is what we had before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah. So now, okay, I don't know if have you seen this Nebraska case? 18 football players at Nebraska are suing and trying to get arbitration on to circumvent the NIL rules, okay? So this is pretty ingenious, okay? So Nebraska has a PR firm called Playfly, which works with their athletic department. So they pay Playfly a certain amount of money to do PR for their athletic department. So they come up with an idea. Hey, listen, you don't have to pay us. We won't pay you as much. Okay. And so, no, I'm sorry. Playfly says you don't have to pay us as much. We'll take some of the money that you would be paying us and we'll invest it into your NIL program. You see? So a part of their fee now is not paid to them. Some of the money goes back to Nebraska in NIL. So in essence, if Nebraska's paying them $15 million, okay, for their, let's just use around $15 million, okay, for their services, okay. They say, hey, look, pay us. Now I'm getting confused. Pay us. No, Nebraska says give some of the money back in terms of putting it in our NIL program. Right. We'll pay you, but you put some of the money back into our NIL program. Okay, I'm getting confused.
Like what the work you did was worth $10 million. Right. You're going to charge us 15, but you're going to kick 5 back into our NIL.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, so now it's and they're saying, hey, look, what's wrong with that? It's a PR firm hiring players to do whatever PR work for their firm. They just happen to have a contract with Nebraska. So we'll see how that case plays out. They're looking for arbitration to try to work it out. But the big money programs are not going to relinquish their advantage. I mean, why would they?
Yeah.
To make it more fair for the little guys. It's what I was saying during the college football season, that like the group of 5 schools need to understand they're playing a different game. You're not playing the same game. Okay. So you don't have the money to play the same game. Now you can take the status that comes with, oh yeah, we're in the college football playoff. We got 2 spots in the 12-team college football playoff and we both got blown out. Okay. If that means that much to you, okay, fine. But, that's going to be the extent of it. And I don't think that's good for the kids involved in those programs. Give them a chance to compete for a real national championship with schools with similar budgets. Because now that you see what Indiana's done in football and you see what Michigan's done in basketball, that's not going to stop. Okay, you can affect the transfer rules. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. But in terms of the money, that toothpaste is out of the tube, and you're not putting it back in.
Yeah. And the difference between when we talk about it with college football, I think, and college basketball is for the March Madness tournament, a 12 can beat a 5 every now and then. Which a 12 is not beating a 5 in college football.
Not going to happen.
It's just not going to. No, it's just not happening.
And 2 or 3 guys, or 5 in Michigan's case in basketball, can make a huge difference. 5 guys not going to make that much of a difference in football. You need, a massive influx of talent. The age thing does concern me a little bit because I understand Michigan's average age was 22 and one guy was 25.
Right.
I mean, I wonder at what point does it become less of an advantage? Like, if you're playing football and you have a 19-year-old against a 25-year-old, the 25-year-old is going to have an advantage. Okay. How old do you get before it's no longer an advantage or a disadvantage? Like if a 28-year-old is playing against a 19-year-old, are they old? I mean, no, I don't think it's going to get to the point where we got 28-year-olds, but I was just thinking about that today. Like, at what point does it become a disadvantage? But I don't like the idea of grown men, 24, 25 years old playing against 19-year-olds.
I think Indiana football had some older dudes too, if I remember correctly.
Indiana football. I mean, they were they were long in the tooth. I mean, they got congratulated by their wives and kids after they won the championship. So I don't mind some sort of an age restriction. I don't know how you do that, but the money, I go back to that TCU Georgia game at SoFi for the national championship, and I was in a suite, and I'm looking around, and you got corporations entertaining their clients in suites. You got billboards of everything all around the stadium. You got this sponsored by this sponsored by that, this sponsored by that. And I'm like, everybody in here is making money except the guys on the field who we all came to see. And that's not right. That's not fair. Okay. And you didn't do it when you should have, in a way that you could have had more control over it. And now you don't have any control over it. And chances are you may not ever get any more control over it, because once the money starts flowing, it's hard to get it to stop, because then there's going to be lawsuits and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know how they deal with the money situation, other than to have schools that have unlimited budgets play in a league against other schools with unlimited budgets. And, it's not, JMU against Texas, because that's just, they're not an equal playing field, like in football.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm all for the transfer rules though. Like, you shouldn't be able to transfer like 5 times.
Yeah, they got to do something, but to the point, it's like, hey, you could have done something earlier. Now it's kind of like that old commercial. You can pay me now or you can pay me later. And they're getting,
yep. Yeah. What was that? Muffler. Was that Midas Muffler?
Was it?
Was it Midas Muffler?
That's a good pull. If that was Midas Muffler and you pulled that right,
you can pay me now. You can pay me. I think that was Midas Muffler. I'm gonna look it
up. Let's get on.
I'm gonna look it
up. No, but let's move on to the top story. And the top story, folks, is Friday night at Moda Center in Portland, when the Portland Trailblazers host the Los Angeles Clippers. Those of you new to the broadcast, we were going to remind you that Stan and I do similar gigs. Stan for the Clippers and me for the Trailblazers. And the way I understand it is pretty much the winner of that game is going to be the 8th seed in the play-in tournament, and the loser
Au
of that
contraire,
game.
mon frère. Au
That's not
contraire,
right?
mon frère. If the Clippers win, they're going to be the
Yeah.
8th seed. If the Blazers
Yeah.
win, they're going to be tied. And then the Blazers own the
Blazers
tiebreaker.
own the tiebreaker.
Right.
The Blazers own the tiebreaker.
So the Blazers would then have to beat Sacramento in their final game to officially lock it up.
Each team has one game after that. The Blazers got Sacto, and the Clippers have Golden State.
Yeah, so they'll be tied. So there's still a situation where if the Clippers lose, Blazers win, Clippers lose. If the Kings beat the Blazers and the Clippers beat the Warriors, the Clippers go back up a game and then they win. If they finish tied, Blazers have the tiebreaker. So it's Clippers can clinch it Friday. Blazers can likely clinch it Friday.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But biggest game of the season. There you can see it. No, that's old.
Blazers.
That's old. That's old. Yeah.
Blazers had 2 bites at the chance to be in a deadlock with the Clippers, but lost a overtime thriller at Denver, and that
was a great game.
I
was texting you during that game.
I know.
Were you working?
I know. And oh yeah.
You were working? Okay, yeah.
I'm way too emotionally involved.
Me too. You know, it's funny. I used to only be like this 17 times a year with the Saints. And so now I'm living and dying with the Clippers 82 nights a year, and that's a lot.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's that's the part of it that I really like, though, because you become emotionally invested with it because you see how hard the guys work, and you see everything they put into it, and you want to see them be successful when you're up close like that. When you see it, like, man, I look at Kawhi Leonard and I'm like, man, that dude is just unbelievable what he has done this season. And he's just like, man, he deserves, to go to the playoffs and have a chance because of how, they started 6-21. Clippers were 6-21. And Ty Lue says, look, we got to go 35-20 the rest of the way to finish 500. And they've already won the 35 games already with 2 left to play. So it's just been a phenomenal season. But, it's all going to come down to Friday for that 8th seed. How you feeling about it?
Well, to your point where you look at the players, I look at the city of Portland, and the city of Portland needs to be in the postseason in one form or another. Yeah. It's been a dry spell for Portland. We've got a new owner. We need to show him that, that we're on the up, headed this way. And, they got a good young group. You watched them play the Denver game. Denver is one of the best 3 or 4 teams in the league, and they had the Nuggets, I just, it's, I would love to be at Moda Center on Friday, but I love being married more. And so I had to come back to LA, but my wife's going to say, what are we doing for date night Friday? And that's when I'm going to have to drop, we're watching the Blazers, and she'll be like, you're watching the Blazers. It's just, it's exciting. It really is exciting. And last night was my last game of the season because I only do road games. And I was like, man, I was packing up my stuff, and I was kind of like, well, I hope I'm back. It's a year-to-year thing, and but I really hope the team, shows itself well and at least gets the 7 or 8 in the playoffs, advancing from the play-in, regardless of who you're playing, is the next objective for Portland.
So before this, had you ever done this kind of thing before, where you were with a team?
No, but I've been doing it with the Blazers for 5 years now.
Yeah, but before that, before this gig with the Blazers, like you were a sports information director, so you were with a whole athletic program, right? Yeah.
In Hawaii, and when I was at Oregon, I was the stats guy for the radio, so I was at all the football games and all the basketball games like that. But and I grew up in a household where basketball put food on our table. My
Yeah.
stepdad was a high school coach, and there was a big difference in that household if Shadle Park won or Shadle Park lost. Because man,
Exactly.
you were on tiptoes if they lost, but it was party central. You watch your parents having a drink, smoking, and and just having a great time. And you're like, I want to do more of that than like, let's keep it down.
Yeah.
We lost. Yeah. Yeah.
No, man, it's like, because like working in the studio, I worked in the studio pretty much my entire career. Like in local, you follow your teams. I worked in Norfolk and I worked in New Orleans, and the Old Dominion women's team in '96 or '97, they went all the way to the national championship, and so I kind of got the experience following them because we covered them so closely because they were so good. Tisha Penicharo and those young women, they were really, really a special team. So that was fun chronicling their story the whole way. But I mean, this is like, even during the All-Star break, I was like, come on, man, let's get back to it. Let's get back to it.
Yeah.
Because it's such a fun thing, actually, being there and feeling like, you're a part of the team, and your job is to tell the story. And I tell you, man, Kawhi Leonard makes me want to be a better broadcaster. I'm like, I want to be as good as what I'm doing for the team as he is for what he's doing with the team. Because it's just been incredible to watch. So I mean, I'm the same way. It's a year by year thing, and I hope I get to do it again next year because it's really been a blast. And I didn't know that there was something out there like this that I would enjoy this much at this stage of my career, and that part of it has been the most pleasantly surprising thing about it is that, like, I feel like I'm a kid starting out again, like with a new job, as a broadcaster.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Every time it's game time, it's like, all right, let's go. Yeah. It's like
Exactly.
I got the Chuck Taylors on and we're ready to roll.
So so you've seen the Thunder up close?
I've only seen because I only do the away games, so I haven't even seen the Blazers up close.
Let me tell you something, man.
I'm seeing but I know they're special, and my feelings towards the franchise.
Yeah, I've seen San Antonio a couple of times in the last couple of weeks against the Clippers, and I saw OKC. Was that last night? Night before? Last night. And let me tell you something. If it comes down to OKC and San Antonio in the Western Conference Finals, I think it's going to be epic. I think it's going to be epic because, I mean, when you look at all the pieces that Stephon Castle and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that is going to be, Chet Holmgren and Victor Wembanyama going. There's so many matchups in that potential series that are just going to be fantastic to watch. That look, I'm Clippers all the way. I hope they win the title. But if it's Thunder and Spurs, I'm not missing a minute of that series.
Yeah. Who do you think's coming on the East side?
I like Boston. I like Boston. I mean, look, they're going to do what they do. I say this over and over again. They're going to do what they do, and they're going to do it if they're knocking down threes at an efficient rate, they're unbeatable. And even if they have a mediocre night shooting threes, they're going to play defense every night. Same thing with OKC. Same thing with San Antonio. They're going to play defense every night. All 82 games, every night they're playing defense. And so if they're hitting threes, like with their defense, and if they're hitting threes, they're practically unbeatable. They got two guys who are elite at creating their own shot or getting to the free throw line, and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And everybody on their team can shoot. Everybody. So I like Cleveland a lot, but the way Boston plays, the way they say, hey, this is what we're doing. We're going to do it every night, and you got to try to find a way to stop it. And it's not, there's not any secrets. What they do is right in front of you, but you got to try to find a way to stop it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Detroit is too young, and I don't know what Cade Cunningham's availability is since
He's
he
coming
went down
back.
with the collapse. He's coming back,
Yeah,
but
he's
you know,
coming
you
back.
know how rusty he's going to
Right.
be.
And when you start talking about getting up and down the court and you had a lung problem, that,
Yeah. And then I was on the Knicks, and then you put it you you put it where I'm never going to forget it. You go, hey man, your best player can't be 6'1", and I'm like, ooh, that's a good point, man. That's a
yeah,
good
yeah.
point. Yeah, I think it's Cleveland or Boston out of the East. I don't see anybody else. Um, I you know I just Boston. We got so that whole East when we lived back east. It's just I can't.
Any New England,
and
New England and New York teams, Neil's done.
and the Celtics even got Peyton Pritchard, who's a great Duck. So I should be rooting for him, but they won it already. They won it once. So yeah, again, if the Blazers don't win it all, I want the Clippers to win it all. So there you go. I'll tell you who's not going to win it all is the Lakers. They picked a bad time to have two of their best three guys go down, and which is unfortunate because you want all teams to be at full strength so you can see who's going to win the shootout. You don't want one team to have a full complement of players and the other to have Luka Doncic over in Germany getting whatever he's having done, and Austin Reeves is not, if he comes back, he's not going to be close to 100%. And LeBron is 40 something years old. He can only do so much, and yeah.
And then beyond them, it's there's just not a lot there. There's just not a lot there for the Lakers beyond those three guys.
Right.
Very top heavy, and now the top's gone. And so I'm with you. I don't think LeBron James has a Superman run in him at this point where he can drag them past any of the better teams in the West. I mean, Denver is like, hey, look, we're hitting our stride.
I think Denver,
as the playoffs come.
Yeah. I mean, as good as Shai Gilgeous is, I'm still taking Jokic if I got a first pick. I mean, he's just triple double every night.
But before I saw them last night, this is the second time I saw them in person this season, OKC. I heard people say, look, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is on the road to being this generation's Michael Jordan. And
he was originally a Clipper.
I mean, look, if at that time, if you have an opportunity to get Paul George, and it's going to cost you a promising young player in exchange for somebody who's already established as a superstar. I mean, you make that deal. I mean, I was just asking Brent Barry. I was talking to Brent Barry's one of our analysts for the Clippers. And I said, hey, how much do you think they knew about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Do you think that they knew this guy could be an all-NBA caliber player at some point, but we can get an all-NBA caliber player now if we give him up? And he said he didn't think that they knew he was going to be this good.
Yeah, I read something where Lawrence Frank was like, try and hold off. No, we're not putting him in. And whoever it was it OKC was saying, if he's not in the deal, we got no deal.
Right. And so, to get Paul George, considering who Paul George was at the time.
Was at the time. Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is not Luka Doncic. It's not the Luka Doncic deal. It makes sense on both sides to a certain extent. But I don't think I certainly didn't think he would be this good. I thought he was a good player, but he's he's kind of like Kawhi Leonard in the sense that he has certain spots on the floor that he likes to get to. And if he gets to those spots, it's over. It's over. You got to try to keep him from getting to those spots, but he's great at getting to those spots. And he uses that off arm very skillfully. Now there are people, the whole free throw merchant thing. He uses that off arm very skillfully. And look, he's got a superstar whistle at this point. I'll just say that. He gets a superstar whistle. But he's a superstar. He's an MVP, and so he's going to get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the whistle, and he understands that and plays to it, and so he gets to the line a lot. I think more than anybody else in the league, But as long as he's playing within the rules, you can't fault him for that.
Yeah.
But Michael Jordan was the same way. Michael Jordan got to the free throw line a whole lot when he was playing.
Nano Brewer says we can't compare Jordan to SGA.
Not yet.
And I don't think
yet.
We're not comparing them. Yeah, we're
right.
just
We're saying he's getting on that road. Okay, you win a second in a row. Okay, he's got Jalen Williams as his Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you got Holmgren, and then they still got picks. They got picks.
They have a ton of picks.
Right. And they don't have to try to hit home runs with the picks. They can say, we need a 6'9" guy who can rebound and play defense. We don't need him to score. Let's get him. Okay, they can cherry pick exactly what they need because they got their stars already.
Yeah.
Or they can trade them and get other players.
Not Zach says we should put some respect on Detroit. I think we respect Detroit. It's just everybody's got to wait in line. Nano Brewer says can't wait to see LeBron go to the Warriors next year to be the all geriatric team. assuming that LeBron is not coming back to the Lakers, which I think is a fair assumption.
Yeah.
Where does he finish, or is he finished?
Well, Cleveland automatically comes up. Anytime there's, LeBron in movement, Cleveland automatically comes up. I heard some people tossing around Miami, but I'm like, I think Pat Riley and LeBron, had their time, and that's not going to happen again. I would say Cleveland. I mean, Warriors. I mean, look, I think Golden State will try to do something. I mean, they were trying to go hard at Giannis. May still try to if they have anything to offer. But they got to try to do something to make Steph Curry's last 1 or 2 years relevant. You don't want him in the lottery. You don't want to be in the lottery with Steph Curry his last 2 years.
Right, you're already in the play-in as the last team in the play-in this year.
Yeah. And so I would think, the Porzingis thing just didn't work. I think he was the second option when they didn't get Giannis. But, maybe they'll make another move to try to get Giannis this summer, because it looks like he's gone from Milwaukee.
Yeah, I'm kind of Giannis'd out. I mean, call me when he goes to another team, but I don't need to hear anything more about Giannis. And as far as Doc Rivers, who's our last subject of the day, I think he's got a better chance of seeing you at Riviera during the NBA season than being on an NBA Bel Air or Valencia. I think he's got a better shot at being at Bel Air than he does at being on a bench, and Bel Air and probably television for Doc Rivers.
Although he is at Riviera too. Doc's
done all right for himself.
Yeah, Doc's got the membership situation down here in LA, the golf membership. Yeah, that last news conference, I don't know if you saw it, where he started talking about his grandkids and he wants to spend some time with his grandkids, and they're like, hey, but I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. He's been coaching a long time. Okay.
Yeah.
Celtics, that was 2008. Okay. Not that we're pocket watching, but he's probably made a couple of $100 million.
You would think. Yeah.
A couple of $100 million.
Player and a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at some point he looks up, okay, well,
Yeah, like
I've
Rory. How many houses do I need if I only use 4 rooms in my 10-room house to begin with?
Yeah, and I mean he's going into Hall of Fame now.
Yeah.
And so, there's not a whole lot left to do. except play golf and spend time with your grandkids. So he sounded like a guy who is seriously contemplating, moving on. But the Giannis thing, I saw somebody say this. The Giannis thing is like if you have a friend and they're in a bad relationship, and every time you talk to the friend, they're just complaining about their partner, and you're just like, why don't you just break up? Why don't you just break up? All you do is complain. Why don't you just break up? And then you both can just go on with your lives. So it's just kind of
well, because we've been dating ever since I can't, we've been together, and I can't imagine my life without her.
And we had that beautiful moment a few years ago where everything was wonderful and we won the championship. And we're trying to get back to those days again, but it's so elusive. We can never find that love again. And it seems like, you'll always have that, but, it's probably time to do something else now.
Yeah, I don't think the people in Milwaukee can blame him one bit. And it's good, it's if the Bucks are going to be that bad, it's better for the NBA if Giannis is somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look,
I can't believe they're that bad with him, although he's been hurt. So, and that's the other thing about him, the way
he's been hurt. He's been hurt. He hasn't been playing. He's been hurt. I think he has this little known disease. It's one of two of them. Debanza syndrome. Have you heard of this disease?
Okay. No, this is going to be funny, though, I think.
Debanza syndrome. It's only cured if you draft the BYU star AJ Debanza.
Oh.
That's the only cure for it. Okay. They also seem to have Peterson complex, which can only be cured if you get Darren Peterson from Kansas. Okay. So that's the illnesses that they have. I mean, like the tanking has just been comical in some ways. Like the Kings the other night, and again, hey, maybe DeMar DeRozan just needed his rest because he's a veteran player and he needs to rest up for the offseason. Okay, but DeMar DeRozan, Kings were playing the Clippers the other night. DeMar DeRozan needed 9 points to pass Oscar Robertson for 16th on the all-time list. Okay, he's 10 minutes into the game, gets a basket. He's got 10 points. They do a big thing on the scoreboard in Sacramento. DeMar DeRozan, standing over there, never touches the floor again. After 10 minutes, never touches the floor again, And so, look, I can't blame teams for looking forward, and especially like people believe Debanza is like a game changer. Like he's a franchise changer, And so people want to be in the best possible position to try to get a player of that caliber. But, I mean, they've had games. I mean, there have been games where, like, teams have just sat everybody and not played players who could help them win with some really dubious injuries or rest designations and everything. And, like, I understand from an organizational standpoint that, you want to try to do what's best for your franchise, try to put them in the best position moving forward. But there's also the now, and the people who came to see the game want to see the home team win. And, I have heard people say that the fans aren't that heavily invested in winning now, that real fans get it. Real fans get, hey, I'm going to go to the game. I'm going to have a good time because I got tickets. I already paid for them. I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to check out some of our young guys. But I know going in, we're probably not going to win. We're playing for the future. And because I'm going to have tickets next year, I want the team to be better next year because we're not going anywhere this year. And so I've seen, speculation that hardcore fans get it. As a fan, how would you feel about it?
Well, I've lived it up there in Portland for a few years. Portland was in the lottery for, 3 of the last 5 years, I think.
Because they didn't play Dame Lillard down the stretch a few years ago.
No, and
right,
and he, and they had some guys who were legitimately hurt, and they just had a thin roster to begin with. That's a tough one because it feels like you're cheating the game if you're not giving the game all you can,
Right.
by manipulating your roster.
Right.
So, and that's, I guess I'm more of a purist than that, than a businessman. I'm thinking with more my heart than my brain.
Yeah.
And my heart says, if I go to a Blazer game and he's healthy, I'm going to see Damian Lillard.
Right.
And you're telling me he's not playing because he's resting. That's gonna disappoint me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you there. I'm with you. But on the other hand, if a team says we want to evaluate our young guys, we're out of it. We have young guys who need minutes. We need to evaluate them in real game situations. If they justify it that way.
And the thing was that Utah last year, we're tanking for Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
I think they ended up with the fifth. They got the fifth pick, I think.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some sort of solution out there. You've heard about, hey, we're going to take your record at X point in the season, and that's going to determine the lottery fall. So there's nothing gained by tanking late. At least it's something that they're not putting their head in the sand and saying, no, we're all wrong. This doesn't exist. They know, the NBA knows it's an issue. They're going to deal with it, and hopefully they come up with something that makes it better than it is right now, because it just doesn't taste right. It doesn't smell right.
Yeah, the bottom 9 teams, I think it is, their record is just atrocious since the All-Star break. I think maybe we talked about this before. What about a tournament between the lottery teams, but you have to win the tournament to get the number 1 pick?
That would be in addition. That would be in addition to the 82 games. So it would be part of the 82 games, because then it's hard to determine. Now you're at the end of the season and you've already made the schedule at the beginning of the season.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so I guess that one wouldn't work. I'm trying to come up with something, because I agree. It's kind of like, people pay. I mean, the NBA tickets can get pricey. And people want to see the stars, and it's a star-driven league, so they got to figure it out.
You go to the library at one of those NBA games to check out a book. Those books are like $20 a book. Hey,
exactly. And I know you're an avid reader.
Exactly. The game seems a little better whenever I'm reading heavily.
Now wait a minute. Are you wearing Blazers gear right now?
Oh yeah, I just got home, man.
I started to put on my Clippers shirt for this show. I said, I'll only do it if Neil's gonna do it, but I didn't know you were gonna do it. I should have done it.
Oh yeah, I woke up in this, so be thankful. Be thankful we're in 2 separate locations, because I can't smell good right now. Hey, but before we go, let's producer Jeff, man, in an undisclosed bunker in an undisclosed location. What do you got for us, man? Before we sign off. Here he comes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you. Yep.
Couple of Masters questions / notes. First, did you hear about 1988 runner-up Mark Calcavecchia on Tuesday during the practice round got kicked out? You guys know why?
Yeah. He was using his phone.
Correct.
And what is that? You can't use your phone on once you enter the
at all.
Wow. Interesting. I didn't know that.
They want, and even if you're a British Open champion, they will kick you out. So he got kicked out, and then there was another guy.
Now, can he come back the next day, or is he out for the tournament?
I don't know. Jeff, you have the answer to that?
All he said was, I'm not going to say anything negative about Augusta National Golf Club.
I'd like to come back again.
That's smart.
Okay. Another guy got kicked out because they found out that he had a resale ticket. They don't even allow that.
Really?
Yeah. So if you get a badge to go and you can't resell it. And if they find out you resold
be
it, then
to be
that
a patron.
to be a patron, right? Then that person's getting kicked out. And
Wow.
yeah, it's they're look, they have their rules and their traditions, and like they don't really bend to anybody. You remember the whole thing with the protest about women members, and and you know they wanted to protest, and then they had the Augusta police move the protest like a mile down the street because like the police were working with them. And so the protest was like a mile down the road, where it's like, hey, what are they protesting? They're nowhere near the golf course. So they got,
when it comes to the forward thinking race, Augusta was never in the lead for the gold medal. So.
Well, look, I will say this. I mean, like, if you're the phone thing can be. I mean, I've heard you comment about it when like something big is getting ready to happen, and people are watching it through the lens on their phone. Well, that's defeats the purpose of being there.
100%. Oh,
okay.
God,
so
guaranteed
crazy. You're not gonna have any of that because nobody's got their phone.
Yeah.
So it preserves that part of the experience. You know, it preserves that part of the experience. And you know, I'm not. You know, it's a little overbearing because like, what if you have, you know, what if you need to get in touch with somebody, you know, or what if you're just something as simple as, hey man, we're on 6 and we're gonna go over to 10 after this. Meet us over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something as simple as that. But you know, it's their rules, their place, and they consider it a privilege to be there. And so you want the privilege, got to follow their rules.
Yeah, fair.
How about a beeper?
A beeper.
There's probably only one of us who has one of those, and he's talking right now.
You guys like to collect things?
I don't know. I got an old ESPN phone, if that's what you're talking about. We were supposed to turn those in.
You still have it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. That was a flip phone, right? I had one of those.
Yeah.
Would you pay $1,500 for a set of Masters gnomes? Because that's what they're going for.
No.
I'm a hard no on that.
They've been making them since 2016. Get one of each for 1,500 big ones.
No.
Woo.
No thanks. No thanks.
No.
Like, okay. I could take this picture, right? And I could print out a picture and I could put it in a frame, and that's free. That's free. And
see my gnomes in the picture?
Put it in my golf room.
There you go.
You know? Yeah,
I didn't even know those were called gnomes. So
the reason why they can only charge you $1.50 for a pimento cheese sandwich is because they are getting paid off all the merchandise they sell. Like they get paid off the merchandise that they sell. So, but the food's really cheap.
Because you can't get like a Masters hat anywhere but at the Masters. You can't order it online or anything, right?
I imagine. But you know,
I saw a guy who had a hat on. I go, you got that at Augusta? He goes, you got to get it at Augusta. And I'm like, okay, yeah.
See, okay, so here's my thing with that. I was talking to my wife about this the other day. Like, it's a private club, okay?
Yeah.
So I don't want to wear their merchandise unless I'm a member of the club. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Like I don't. If it's Pebble Beach, okay, it's a public course. You pay your money. Anybody can play there. Okay, I'll get a Pebble Beach hat. Okay.
Right.
But if I'm not a member at Augusta and it's a private club and only members and their guests can play there, then I'm not wearing Augusta merchandise because I'm not a member. It's like if you're a member of a private club and you see a guy somewhere with a shirt or a hat from your club, you're like, oh, hey man, hey, you a member? No,
right.
My buddy, whatever, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong. Yeah. Just for me, like, if I wear logoed golf gear from a private club, it's because I'm a member of that club.
I like that. That's kind of like my you can't wear a jersey with a player's name on the back that's younger than you.
Younger than you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't wear a Tom Brady jersey, but I could wear a Joe Namath jersey.
Yeah. Now I did make an I wore the Steve Gleason that you bought me.
That was that Steve Gleason gets special consideration.
Exactly. Yeah. But that is the only Saints jersey with somebody's name on it that I've ever worn. I don't have a Drew Brees. I don't have a Cam Jordan. I don't have a Reggie Bush. I've never had a Saints jersey with like my stuff just says Saints. I just something about I think about my old man and was like, hey, son, your name's not Bush, it's Verrett, okay? Your name's not Breeze, it's Verrett. I know you're a fan, okay, but your name is not Breeze, it's Verrett. So
there you go, love it.
Yeah. So anyway,
shout out to Pops. That's a good way to end the show, man. Shout out to Pops.
All right.
Yeah. Right on, everybody. I don't know when we're going to be on next week because we're waiting to see what the playoff basketball schedule is. But you know how to, if you're out there, you know how to find out. And we'll be back one day. We'll be back on one of these days next week.
Yeah, subscribe so that you can get an alert and you'll automatically know and you won't miss a moment. All right. So do you want to go first for your team or should I go first? I'll go first.
Like,
go
let's
Clips.
Go
Clips.
Let's go Blazers. Dun, 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 dun. Let's go Blazers. Rip City, baby. All right. Love you, brother.
Love
you.
Be
in touch.
Man. All right.
Coach D.
Let's go.
How's it? Do you know what time it is?
Let's go.
The Stan and Neil Show. 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 With Stan. Oh, Stan, he's the man. And who's Stan's biggest fan? Well,
it's Neil.
And Neil, oh Neil, he keeps it real. And that's why Neil's the deal. Stan and Neil back together again, spreading the love with all their old friends.
Let's go.
Stan and Neil back together for you. Keeping it cool, 'cause cool's our rule. The Stan and Neil Show, 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 the Stan and Neil Show.
Yeah. All right, let me hear it all back. See what we got so far.
So, shout out to Coach D for the jingle, the Stan and Neil jingle.